All right, good day. Welcome to a beginner course for Adobe Illustrator. All right, today we'll be talking about the basics of design using Adobe Illustrator. So the current year of my Adobe product that I have currently installed on my system is Adobe Illustrator 2021, right? On your own system here, I don't know which year do you have on, but regardless of the year that you have on, you always see something similar to exactly what we'll be showing you on this design here. So when you launch the application for the first time, I want to believe you coming to join or you're trying to learn this application, you must have learned the basics of design, right? I'm talking about the basic design elements from text to color to what again? Shapes. Yeah, I'm talking about imagery. I'm talking about other factors that need to be considered whenever you are creating a design. Different principles of designs, right? Hierarchy, contrast, negative space, white space, and the likes. Is it making sense? So these are different backgrounds of creating basic designs. So to proceed, I'll quickly open one of the designs that we have here, which is a free. We are trying to get our customers to follow our social media page. So the first thing that we needed to do was to create a flyer like this. Let me go to full view so that you can see what we've done. Stand a chance to win SketchUp license. We are telling our customer to stand a chance to win the SketchUp license. How do they win it? We have the procedure here, 5 basic steps. First, you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you like at least 5 posts from our YouTube channel. The second one, you do the same thing on Instagram, you like at least 5 posts. Why? The reason why, can you see that this thing is in form of a design, right? And for this design to work, there are a lot of things that came in place. The likes of the shape. Can you see that we have something like a rectangle in the background of the text? We also have some text in place. We also have imagery. If you don't have this imagery, it does not mean this design won't fly. But imagery is giving it more context. You understand that happy feeling? You understand? Just to set the mood for the customer who is going to be doing that. And then to make things easier, we have a barcode here. If I get to see this promo from my cell phone or from my system, I can just pick up my phone and then scan the barcode and to give me access to exactly what I have here on this link. Are we good to go? So we have different components that are coming together to play here. You understand? Giving us the right information that we need to be successful or to compete or to participate in this promo. Do you get me? So for designs, there are different components that comes together to play to make a design work. Are you with me? So if you are doing not a graphic design like what we are doing here, that we are talking about we are designing a building apartment. There are different things that come in place. You get to find what the dimension of the land you are designing the building for, and then you start to enter different components of the design. If you have living room, if you have the walkway, if you have the kitchen and toilet, start bringing everything together so that it makes a whole single unit of a home, right? So this is also the same thing here. We have different components that are coming together, and then we have the company's logo placed there to give it that trademark. You understand that this is from what? Costech. Are we good to go? So the basics of design, when you launch Adobe Illustrator for the first time, it takes you to this landing page. I call this landing page, right? On this landing page, you can do 2 things. You can either click on this create new button. When you click on create new button, it opens this dialog box for you, where you can select the dimension you are trying to design for, or if you know the dimension that you are trying to design for, you just go ahead, enter the measurement here. You want to enter the measurement. If it's in millimeters, you can change the unit from around here, right? You change the millimeters, you change to whatever measuring unit you are working with. If it's inches, you go ahead to select your design size. If it's A4, A5, A3, A1, A whatever. Are you with me? So you can see we have different sections here as well. We have the recent. This recent is here because of these different dimensions that I've worked on over the time, right? If you go to your recent here for your new application, you won't see anything like that when you go to recent. You won't see anything on recent. you see that this was limited for. But when you go to print, when you go to file making, there are different sections. We have different categories. We have the mobile category. Or the mobile category, that means you are trying to design something for your phone. It could be your wallpaper, right? We have the mobile, we have the web, we have the print, we have the filmmaking, and then we have the art and illustration. Whatever design spec, size or dimension you are designing for, it could be A3. If it's A3, you select A3 as well. Now that I'm designing for A3, is it landscape or portrait design? I can change that from this orientation section. When I click on portrait, that means I'm designing for portrait. When I click for landscape, I'm designing for landscape. I showed you the difference between portrait and landscape the other time. But to bring it clearer to your view again, I'll go back to my Google, and then I'll type portrait. What is this? Are you with me? Difference between portrait and landscape, and then we have now. All right, so like I said, designing the landscape, you can see the orientation of the landscape design, and then we have the portrait, the orientation of the portrait design. So if you decide to go portrait, we have the portrait. If you decide to go landscape, you can go landscape as well. So either way, we have selected our orientation. There's something called the bleed. I told you we only use bleed when we are doing a print design, right? I told you we use bleed when we are doing a print design. And most of the time when we create design on Illustrator, it's either in two ways, right? What are those two ways? If you are creating a design on Illustrator, is that design one, we need to print that design out, or the design is going to be what?
On the desktop.
On the desktop. There's one word that I use for that. So like I said, the designing anything is either you are doing on two ways. It could be in two different categories. It could be a print design or a screen design. A print design is the design you are going to bring out on paper. You're going to print it out. It's not necessarily on the paper. It could be on a plastic if it's an ID card. You understand? It could be on a leather if it's a banner or whatever. You understand? But you are printing out or you are using it on the screen. On the screen means it's going to be on display. It could be on your system, it could be on your phone, it could be on the publication design, probably on a digital screen on the road. You understand? All these different designs that we have, it could be for screen or for print. Are you with me? So whenever you are trying to use bleed, it should most of the time we use bleed on design that we are trying to print out. And that bleed, only what it helps us to do is to add margin. So it helps us to add margin. It helps us to what? Add margin. So let me go to bleed. Now, can you see what we have here? Let me go to this guy here. You can see the difference. Bleed, this is adding a bleed to your design. This is what? No bleed. When you add a bleed to your design, let's say this is where your design is going to end normally. This where we have all your designs. But because you are adding a bleed, you extend it past that end. Why? Because you are trying to give a margin for people who are going to be doing all the printing, the cutting. You understand? They are trying to print the design. They are going to cut some edges away. So you are giving them a margin to work with. Are you with me? Okay. So that's really what bleed is all about. That's really what bleed is all about. So bleed is just having a boundary, an extra space where these print guys can leverage to make sure that they insert the design well. So that's exactly what it is. Yeah, so this is the safe area. You can see the safe area. But outside that safe area where you have all your designs set, every other thing outside is the bleed. Are we good to go? Alright, so let's go back to our design. So we are not adding bleed to this design because I said this example is like creating, let's use A4, let's use portrait. It's like creating a bronchial design. I'm going to be adding just 3 pages. I'll leave the bleed for now. And then I told you that color mode, we have 2 types of color. We have this RGB and then we have the CMYK. The RGB is known as what? Red, green and blue. Most of the time we use RGB for screen designs, because it contains color that pop, that you take the leverage on your screen, your display screen capability, and then it pops out the color, everything is looking fine. And then we have the CMYK. CMYK is cyan, magenta, yellow, and what? Key. And key is always known as what? Black, right? Thank you. Use smart. Use smart. But this is just normal thing that you're supposed to know. So this is just RGB and then the likes. So we have the raster display. I told you this PPI is pixel per inch. Pixel per inch is just the display quality of what you are trying to design. So we always leave it at anything. I can leave it at I if I want that, and then I click on create. That's all about my design. You can see that I created 3 artboards, right? 3 artboards. Artboard is just like your T-square. T-square is this big board that you create your design on, right? But artboard, it is like, the paper, the A4 paper that you place on your T-square. That is, it will be 3. If you are trying to create, that will be 3 A4 papers, right? But for example, if you decide that you are not using A4, we are using A3, we'll take that A4 away, go and get A3 paper and still paste on our what? On our T-square, right? So this gray area that we have, this gray area, they are our T-square. It is our T-square. But this white that we have here is the sheet of paper we are placing on our T-square. Do you get the ideology? Yes. Right? So I can decide to arrange this in another way. For example, I don't like exactly what I have here, but when I go down, let me move my design up a little bit. Where we have the assets, where we have the artboard. There's something called rearrange artboard under the artboard. Can you see under artboard we have something called rearrange artboard? I'll rearrange my artboard and I'll make sure that it's what? Completely vertical. Can you see? Arrange by what? Column. And I'll give it a distance of what? 50. I'll click on what? Okay. You see that this object has been arranged what? Vertically. The first page being this first one, the second page being the second one, and then the third page. But the space of 50 pixels is what we have in between them. Are you with me? If I go ahead to change what I have here into what? 20. What I'm changing here is the space in between here. If I click on OK, you see it will move closer to yourself more, right? Yep. That is the first thing we are learning, right? Yes, so now, this is the artboard we are trying to work on. To work on any artboard, you make use of different sections of your design, like I said. We have the toolbox. This is the toolbox here. Everything that we have here. From top to bottom, it is known as our toolbox. But our toolbox can be bigger and longer than this. Because when you click on these 3 dots that we have here, edit toolbox, we have more tools that are in here. The ones that are grayed out, look at these 2 that are grayed out. That means they are already on the what? Toolbox. But the ones that are still in bright color, like this guy, that means they are yet to be they are yet to be placed what? On the what? Toolbox. If I decide to place area text too on this, I'll just click and drag and place it here. Are you with me? If I decide that okay, I want to put in the next tool, which is what? The paint bucket tool. The paint bucket tool. I think I saw it the other time. Let's use the perspective selection tool or the perspective grid. I can move this tool, place it on my design here. I can move this guy as well, place it on my design here. Are you with me? Yes, so this way I am what? Copulating or adding to my what? Toolbox here. Whenever I'm done, I click outside and I'm good to go. This current command is on. I'll close it off. But you can see that we have the toolbar. After the toolbar, we have something called the menu bar. The menu bar starts from this app icon, the home icon that we have here, to where we have the what? Layout. The home icon here, currently we have a design going on. If I click on the home icon, it will return me back to what? To the landing page. And then you will see the app icon here now as an arrow. That means whenever I click on this arrow, it will take me back to where I was to design. So now, after this app icon, we have the file menu, we have the edit menu, we have the object menu, we have the type menu, we have the select menu, effect menu, and the likes. Right? All these different menu bars that we have there, they contain tools. For example, this file menu contains tools for file management. The edit menu contains tools to modify your object. Object tool contains commands or tools that help you to make adjustment to your objects. We have type tool that contains functions that help us to make adjustment to type. We have selection tool. This help us to adjust our selection command. We have the effect tool that help us to place effect to our object and designs. We have the all these tabs, we are going to explore them as we make designs, right? Yes, it is very, very important. All right, apart from that, because remember, on our window, on our workspace, we are currently on Essential. Please make sure you are also on Essential if you want to see exactly what I have here. And besides, my own Essential, we decided to start adding new tab, new panels to it. 2 panels. We started adding 2 panels to them, right? If I go to my Essentials, if you are not seeing exactly what I'm saying here, you can go to your Essentials. And when you are on Essential, make sure you go back to Reset Essentials. When you reset Essentials, you should have exactly what I have here on my screen. Can you see it has cleared off everything that we've added so far? Are we good to go? Yes, sir. All right. So now we are back here again. Like I said, as you keep creating project after project, it will keep adding this design tab for you. The first tab was the first project that we opened earlier, right? Yes, the second tab is for the new project that we just created. If you keep creating different projects, it will keep coming in form of a tab going to this end, right? Yes, so that is basically about the introduction to this application. Now let's talk about the property panel. We have the property panel. Why do we call them panels? Because these two that we have here, they can be adjusted. You can see I'm moving the panels around. I can adjust them. I can remove them completely. I can bring in the layers panel, right? You can see that. All these panels that were here before, I have undocked them. When you can dock and undock, they are known as panels, because I can even add them together as well. Are you with me? Or I can add them. I can just copulate these tabs that I have here. I can decide to remove them again. That's the reason why they are known as panels, right? I can separate them, add them separately. Are you with me? Are we good to go? So these are different commands that are available for our design. For example, if I need more tools to be here, I'll go into my Windows. First, I need the artboard tool for sure. I need the second one called asset export for sure. I go ahead, I move these guys. Let's place them somewhere around this top here. So they are here, right? They are here. Next one that I want to add again for my Windows, I need the Pathfinder tool for sure. I'll place it around this property. And then I'll go ahead again. My Windows, I need what else again? I need, let's add one more, which is known as the appearance. Now go ahead and place this just right below here. Are we good to go? So this way we have created a different model. Now there's something about design that you should know. I'll use the first command that I want to start using from this toolbox. I'll go to the first one on the list, which is known as, let me use the selection tool. But before we select any tool, that means there must be an object already on the workspace. I'll create first a shape on this workspace. And you will notice that this shape that we have here, there's 2 things you should know. Immediately you are placing a shape on the workspace, there are 2 things I want you to know. Make reference to these 2 shapes that we have here. The first one is this white. This white that we have here is talking about fill color. Fill color, F-I-L-L, fill color. We have another one called the outline color. Now, to help you understand that, I will drag this shape that I've created, I'll drag it outside a little bit. And you will now see that this object that I've created has a field color of white. And if I zoom in very well, you see that there's an outline as well of what color? Black. How do I know? This is what is giving me that information. A field color of what? When I place my mouse on the white color, can you see fill X? When I go to the black color, can you see what? Stroke. You can call it outline color or stroke color. Outline or stroke color. Now, let's now explain what that means. I'll go ahead to select this shape that is currently on the workspace. I would go to this arrow. Can you see this arrow that is beside these two boxes that are created here? It is called swap. I'll click on swap, and you will see that it has swapped the outline color or the stroke color to the fill color, and it has swapped the fill color down to what? The what? To the outline color. Now we have the fill color to be what? Black, and then we have the outline color to be what? White. Are we getting this? This is just basics of what this thing is. So now, if I wanted just the fill color, I don't want the outline color, what do? I go to my outline color. Can you see my outline color is the one below? I'll click on this outline color. You can see now that the outline color is one on top now. Before it was this black that was on top. If I want the black to be on top, I'll click on the black. Can you tell that it has swapped? But I want the outline color to be on top, I'll click on outline color. Now that I've clicked on outline color, what happens? Now I can go to this icon here. There are 3 icons that are listed below here. The first one is the what? Color. The second one is what? Gradient. And the last one is what? None. The none is what I'm going to click on. And when I click on none, what happens? It cancels out.
It remains only the black.
It remains only the black, and the black is the what? The fill color. It cancels out the stroke color. If I don't want a fill color as well, I'll go to the fill color itself. I'll go to what? None. And it will cancel both of them. Are you with me? Yes, let me now go ahead to select the object that I want to apply this on. I'll go to my outline color, go to what? None. It has removed my outline color. If I want to go again, I go to my fill color, I go to what? None. And then it has removed both of the colors. Are you with me? Yes, now, if I want to add a fill color, any color that I want to apply now, it will apply to the first one that is on top. The fill color is the one that is on top at the moment now. Or let me make sure that it's the outline color that is the stroke color that is on top. So I'll go ahead to go and add color blue. Can you see that? Now, can you see that there's a blue color that is currently showing here? Right? Let me select the shape again. Let me go and use another color. Let me see around this color. Right? You can see this now. This one is very bright. I'll place it on the design. You can see that this is the stroke color. Now, there's one challenge, or there's one rule about all this stroke color or fill color. Now, when I'm on stroke, I can go to my properties. Where's my properties? Can you see? Now that I am on stroke color, I am on stroke here. The object is being selected on the workspace. When I go into my properties, can you see there's a stroke showing here? I'll go to that stroke, I'll change it to 14. Can you see the stroke color? It has increased. The thickness, I increased the thickness to what? 14. Are you with me? Now, I'll click on a selection tool. If I try, this object only has what? Stroke color. It does not have fill color. I want to move this object now. I'll click at the center. Is it moving this object? No. Right? No. Let me make a duplicate of this shape. I'll use my Alt key to make a duplicate of this shape. You can see both of them are stroke color. I'll select this other one on the right side. I'll swap. Can you see? I swap. And then you can see that this is now a fill color. This one is a what? Stroke color. How do I know? When I select both of them and move it on the background. I select the two of them, and then I'm trying to move it on the background, away from this white background that we have here. You can see that this one only has stroke, does not have any fill color. This one has fill color, but no what? Stroke color. Let me put it back on the workspace, because while it's on white, it can be distracting you that probably there's a white fill inside it, right? So now that I have these two here, I want to show you that when we have a fill color, I can drag from center, right? You can see I'm dragging this away from center because there is a fill color to it. I can drag at the center. The same, can you see this position that I'm currently at? Where I place my mouse here. If I go to this object here to drag this same object around here, is it moving? No, because there is no fill there. Are you with me? There is no fill there. See where I'm currently at. This side, I'm dragging this object and it's moving. I want to drag this same object from that place. It's not moving because there's no fill there. Now, how do I? So basically, fill color is different from a stroke color. Yes or no? Do you get it? Fill color is different from a stroke color. The fill color of this one is what? I can change to something around green. Okay, it has added it to the stroke. Ctrl Z. Can you see, because of the stroke is on top, that's why it's adding that green color to the stroke. Meanwhile, I wanted to add it to the fill. I'll make sure that the fill is on top, and I'll go ahead to what? Color guide, make this what? Green. Can you see me? Now this is green, this is red. I want to make sure that this one is just two color. Can you see that this one is just two color? I want to add a fill color to it. I'll go and add a fill color of what? Color blue to it. Can you see we now have a fill color of color blue and then a stroke color of what? Orange. This one has the what? Fill color of green. I can go and add a stroke color of what? Let me add a stroke color of what? Yellow. Or let's say light. Are you with me? So let me add a stroke color of purple to that. And then you can see the purple has been applied, but it's very, very small compared to this other one. So I'll go ahead to select the shape, go to my stroke color and add what? Stroke color of what? 14 again to this one. And you can see the two. Do you understand the difference between stroke color and fill color now? Are you with me? Alright. So now that we understand the basics of what stroke color and what fill color means in our design, right? We'll go to the next part, which is now talking about the selection. We have the first command there, which is called the what? Selection tool. This tool helps you to do just two things. The first one is to select your object. Can you see that when you select your object, you can move the object around, which is what? Object selection, right? What was I explaining the other time? I said now we've created these two shapes. These two shapes that we have here, we could move them using the first command that we have there called the word selection tool. I can select this two and move it down. I can select this one and move it to the other side. I can select this one and move it to the other side. If this shape didn't have this fill color of green, if I go ahead to go to that green color and then I turn it off, it does not have that fill color of green. I have to, if I want to drag it, I have to make sure that my mouse is around the purple edge so that I can move it around. Else, I won't be able to drag it. Right? I will have to make sure that my mouse is around the edge before I'm able to move it. Now, the selection tool, apart from moving the object around, it has another function. After selecting, you can see we have some dots. And this dot is divided into at least, I'll call it, these dots, what we have here is just two, right? The white dots, the white square dots, let me zoom in very well so that I can see it. The white square dots that we have around here, they are known as what? Handles. They are known as what? Handles. If I have to write that down for you, or you should write that down. Handles. We have handles. The next one that we have there is this circular dot, right? Corner handle. I'll call this square handle, right? Why? We have two types of handles there. They are known as what? All these white dots that we have here, they are known as what? Handles. And the first one is what? The scale handle. Because when I select on this, when I move my mouse to this white handle that I have here, the white box handle that I have here, it is what? For scaling. If I click and drag, can you see scaling my object? I can scale it down or scale it what? Up. Right? That's what this dot is used for. If I go to any of the dots, to help me to scale my object, that's what they do. Right? Yes, if I go to this top one, it scales my object for me. That's what they do. So apart from the scale handle, we have another one called the corner handle. This corner handle is what we have inside here. Immediately you are placing your mouse on it, instead of this other one that is giving you what? Can you see that shape that is currently transforming into, see my mouse, the current state. When it moves to the white square handle, can you see the change? Yes. Now let me move it to the dot inside. Can you see the change? When I do this one, what does it do? It gives me corner angle. Right? It rounds up the object corners. Right? It could be any other shape. It's not compulsory, it's a square. If I add a polygon to this workspace here, and then I go ahead to my direct selection tool, it also has its own It also has its own dot that I can use to make what adjustment to it. Are we good to go?
Yes.
So that's that about that. Apart from that, again, we still have the white handle, we have the blue and the square handle. We have the corner handle, we have the scale handle. Both of those handles are used to make adjustment to the shapes. So now, let's say there's also one type of handle that we have. It is not known as handle actually. After leaving this selection tool and I go to the next one called before I leave this part, when I move my mouse to this square, the scale handle here, can you see what it's showing me? See what my mouse is? But when I move it outside a little bit, can you see what it's giving me? I can also rotate. Can you see that? I can also rotate. So you need to make sure of what you are trying to do, and then see the kind of state at which your mouse is currently on. It's giving me that angle. That means whatever I do now is rotating. But when I move it closer and it's giving me this one, whatever I do now is scaling it. Are you with me? All right. So what I want to explain now is going to the next command, which is called the direct selection tool. All these tools that I'm mentioning, they have selection tool into bracket of V. They have shortcuts. It's better you know the shortcut, but I won't preach the shortcut to you. As you grow, as you learn more, you should always know the shortcut. The shortcut is very, very important because that's what gives you that efficiency for you to be able to move and do things faster, right? So now, if I want to go to my direct selection tool, I can quickly click on A. Whatever tool that I'm currently on, whenever I click on A, it moves my direct selection tool. And then on my direct selection tool, this time I have access to what? Are you seeing the scale handle? Let me go to this one that I have not touched earlier. I'll go to this one. Are you seeing the scale handle? Let me go to this one. Are you seeing the scale handle?
Yes.
Where is it? Show me, no time. Where is the scale handle?
The dot.
Inside. This one is the scale handle. It's not the scale handle, it's the other one called the corner handle. The one that are inside, when I drag them out now, it is what is giving it that corner handle. Are you with me? Where is the scale handle on direct selection tool? Is it there? You need to be smart and be fast. Think fast. Is it there or not?
It's not there. We have the...
When I go to my direct selection tool, is it there now?
Yes, it is there.
When I go to my direct selection tool, is it there?
It's not there.
Don't you know the state? It is not there. When you are on direct selection tool, you have something else. Look at my scale handle here. 1, 2, 3, right? 1, 2, 3, right? 1, 2, 3 on this side, 1, 2, 3 on this side. When I go to my direct selection tool, is it there? No. Now I have access to this the corner handle, and then I have another dot that has replaced my scale handle now, which is known as nodes. Now when I go ahead to select one of the blue, it's in blue color, it's different from what we have for the other ones. I'll go ahead, I'll select this shape, I'll go to node. This node that I have, and when I click on one of them, can you see what I'm doing? I can adjust each node as I want them to be. Are you with me? Adjusting my design shape. Are you saying that? The node can be adjusted, right? Whatever deform that I've done to this shape, when I go back to my direct selection tool, my handles, my scale handles are still there. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So you need to know the contrast between the two. After that, we have something called the nodes. We call them OBJ nodes, object nodes, right? That is where you can distort and make adjustments to your shape. I'll select this guy, go to my direct selection so you can see the nodes that are around it. I'll select one of them. I'll click and select one of them, and then I can make adjustments. as I see fit. Right? As I deem fit for this design, I can decide to make any adjustment that I want. Who is with me? Are we good to go?
Yes, sir.
So this is what we have been able to create. Any questions? Any questions so far? All right. So now we have been able to create this design. We have this current design workspace on our design. So we have other commands. We have the pen tool. We have the curvature tool. We have the shape tool that has both rectangle, the polygon, the star, the line, and the ellipse. We have another one called the what? We have another one called the brush tool, the paint brush tool. We have the text tool. We have the rotate tool. We have the erase tool, and the likes and the likes and the likes. Are we good to go? All right. So we'll start explaining them as we start using them in our design. But let's say I want to create just a rectangle here. I can create my design in a way that I have the shape that is bigger than the artboard that I've created. It is not a problem. Are you with me? It is not a problem, because when I want to extract this design out now, it is only what is showing on my artboard. What is covered on my artboard that is going to come outside as a print. What do I mean? Let me go to this window icon that I have here, and I'll click on presentation mode. When I go to presentation mode is going to show you exactly what is going to come out of your print. When I go out to print this design, can you see what's going to come out? Meanwhile, on my design, I have all this. You see, are you getting the contrast? When I go to Shift F, this is what's going to come out. When I escape, this is actually what is on the design. I could even have lot and lot of this guy outside like this. But it does not matter, because when I go to my print, since they are not showing on the artboard, I don't have any issue. But if you have just the tip of one of them showing on the artboard, and you go to, they will always come out. Is it making sense? So you have this gray area. When I zoom out now, you will see it's bigger than your normal artboard. There's no amount of artboard. You can have up to 100 or 1,000 of artboards if you were to arrange them accordingly here, right? Okay. And those artboards, we have the gray area. The gray area is known as what? The paste board. It's known as what? The paste board. That means if I want to bring an image into this workspace, I'll go to place. Look at my design now. I'm going to my file menu. On my file menu, I'm going to what? Paste. Place. When I go to place, it's going to ask me, what are you trying to place into this design, sir? I can decide to say, okay, I'm placing a picture. I'll go into my picture. What picture do I have to paste here? Let me use my friend. I'll go to, do you know this man here? Yeah? You don't know him? Then you must be living under the soil somewhere. So this is what I'm pasting on this design. And then this, my guy here, what I've just done is I place an image into my design. Yes or no? This object that I've placed into my design, if I go to my shift preview mode, is it showing this guy? No, because it's just on my paste board. Why is this gray area is known as paste board? Because I can add something there temporarily until when I need it on my design. Now I can decide, okay, I'm trying to bring this guy into my design now. I'll go ahead to say, let me remove the outline of this guy. I'll remove the outline and I go ahead to place my friend. If you don't know this guy, please go and know him. He's very good at transforming lives. So his name is Chris Doe. Right? So I'll go ahead. I've added him to the timeline and I'm going towards Shift F. Look at what I've done here. This way we already created design. If you ask me, we have created a design here. Do you know why I removed the outline earlier? Because I see the image I'm trying to put here. Immediately I place it and I make sure that the bottom is outlined to this object that I have here. I know that it's going to look as if the guy is in the background, like the mini body part is inside that blue shape. You understand? Imagery and design goes hand in hand. You need to understand the image first so that you know how you can use them. For example, I can go ahead and go and bring an image here. Let me go to file again. I'll go and place. I'll go and use one image that I usually there's one type of image that is is usually very difficult to use. But when you know how to use your image, first you understand the image you are trying to bring in, and then you understand how you can use them to your own benefit. I don't know if I can find it on this general, probably until when I enter the folder for design images. Let me enter the folder for design images. I'll find one from there. Where is the folder for design images? This guy here. And I go to, let me just scroll down. I should be able to see one. So I've seen two of those. I'll select this guy and I'll select this other guy. I'll place these two. These two shapes, these two type of photography. The first one is here, the second one I'll drop it on the pasteboard. Where the camera is facing up into the sky or is facing down into the earth. There are techniques of using these kind of images that if you don't use them right, whenever you place them, they'll be like, what's this guy doing? You understand? It's different from going ahead to place a design, a picture that is like this, right? It's different from going ahead to use a picture that's like this. Picture like this is already telling you, you already know how you can quickly paste this out. For example, if I want to use this on this one, I can decide to remove the outline, go to my object, reduce it a little bit, right? Place it around here. I need to make sure that whenever I'm trying to place an image, the image is always below the solid shape. This object here is not a solid shape, right? I'll go ahead to select both of them and then go to what? Make clipping marks. Now you can see that I have this picture embedded into the shape. Can you see that? But by default, anybody that looks at this image will understand that. Anybody that looks at this clipping marks will understand that, okay, there's an image here of a building, right? Compared to this same image that I have here, I'll Control C of this guy, go into this same image, delete this guy, and what? Control V, this one. But this time I'll what? Scale it down. Let me scale it so that it gets filled up or something. Most people will not. But look at this too. Is not really explanatory. You'll get the trick when you start doing more of designs. This type of images and this type of images, one that is looking directly straight up into the sky, they're usually difficult to use. You need to know the technique to apply them. Not that you can't use them, but it has to be very, very technical. You understand? And you need to be calculating. So we'll get there, we'll get to talk about design more, but this is just basic here. But what we have been able to do so far is what? We have a solid color of blue, Ctrl Z, and then we have image that was brought in of a person. And then two of them together has given us something called design. Alright? If I go ahead now and be like, okay, I want to be a professional now, I'll go and write something like the future. The future. And then I can use just any font I know it's going to. The future. Let me use this guy. And then if this is the write-up that I want to use, I can place it around here. Just use white. Right? I can decide to go ahead, duplicate this guy. Not even bold this time. And then I go ahead, place this design here, Ctrl D, D, D. Select everything that we have here. Select everything that we have here. I go ahead again to the other side. Control D. And then I go ahead to select everything that we have there. Select the image. Control G for everything. I make it color blue. And then I just change the tone a little bit, probably darker. And then I make sure they are in the background. That means my image okay, I've grouped them together with this one group. So I'll go ahead again, select everything that I have here, remove this background, remove my image, just group this guy. This is at the center, this is up, right? I can scale it up so that it can fit well. And then I go back to my image. I want to place it right on top, right? And then I go ahead. I don't want this text to show ordinarily. And cover it with my text. And I'll go ahead again, go to F. You can see that I've even added something like a pattern in the background, right? This is me creating design. I've started creating design just this way, right? So it takes two things. Practice. That's the first one. Do you know what the second one is? Attention to what? Details. Right? You need to you need to see things differently and then try to practice, and then you need to pay attention to what details. If something is not working, don't you understand? Just look at it from a creative side, try to see what is working. But all this that I'm talking about, see it from what? Practice. For example, I can now have a big text saying what? Welcome to I can have it here. This one has to be white. Then I'll Academy. Definitely not this text, but you can use other type of text or something, but definitely not that text. But you can use this welcome. I can use welcome, then I can use something like this other guy. What I'm doing here, let's just call it you see, just trying to create a small lockup that can make this thing to work. So what I'm talking about is design here, right? So just basic design manipulation. So I'll go ahead to go to save this guy, go to my document, the AI file, I'll just call this day one. I'll go to what? Intro to what? AI interface. Adobe Illustrator interface, that's what I mean, right?
Yes, sir.
I'll share this file with you so that you can also have a copy. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Alright. So that is just we trying to play around this design interface to create something. What have we worked with so far on this design? We have been able to work with image and text to create just a landing page. This is what we have been able to do. I'm going to package this design. I'll send it to you so that you can have a copy, and I'll link it also in the description below. So this marks the introduction into the user interface. The next part is going to be more of also designs. This is hands-on training. It's not just talking. You need to do exactly what I've done or practice with whatever I've worked with. But I'm going to be sharing every stage with you, like I said. So I've packaged this design. I went to file. I went to package. I've packaged this design already. I'll share with you on your flash, and then also you will have it in the description of this video. So thank you for joining this section. We'll see you again in the next phase.